Hello, Oracles. Today I'm going to do a quick breakdown for everyone as to what to expect from the market this week. I'm not going to predict which way the market's going to move one way or the other, kind of give my input on it a little bit, but I'm just going to break down some of the bigger key events that we've got going on for this week so you can watch what's going on. And again, when you see the market moving one way or the other, these events could be some things to look at as far as, hey, these are the reasons why the market moved one way or the other. If you're trying to do your own predictions on it, this information hopefully will help you out in whatever positions you want to move yourself into or out of, options you want to play, things you want to maybe hold cash or buy things, whatever you want to do for your own portfolio. Hopefully the information I give you guys today will kind of give you an idea as to how the market may transition this week as we go on. Now, if this is information that you like to hear about, please hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, transitioning this channel to a more broad market-based channel and focusing more on dividends and long-term investing versus just a Tesla specific channel. So as I'm broadening it out, please like, subscribe, and share all these videos so that it can help the channel grow from here as well. So the first thing that we have going on this week is going to happen tomorrow, and that is Apple is releasing all of their new products. They've got the new iPhone coming out, and this is the first day of this. Historically, these events have been a sell the news situation. So there's typically a run up into it, a buy the rumor, and then sell the news. This seems like it's going to be a super cycle this time around for Apple as well. They're going to be discussing AI in their phones. They have the biggest phone coming out, and every time Apple comes out with a larger phone, it seems to do well with sales. Obviously, we'll see how the sales go as time goes on, but the actual event historically has been a sell the news situation. With that said, Apple being the largest market cap company in the entire S&P 500, if we end up getting a sell the news situation, that could bring down all of the indices just because Apple is so heavily weighted. Now, who knows how much it's going to sell off? Maybe it's a 0.5%, maybe it's not a lot. But again, it's just something to pay attention to as you're looking at why is the market moving one way or another. If Apple ends up selling off due to a sell the news situation, or maybe the event itself doesn't really provide investors with a wow type situation, and people are like, it's lackluster, don't really care, let's sell off the stock. If that ends up happening and the indices fall down, we might see a much larger sell-off happening as well on top of that, because if we end up seeing that happen as well, you start triggering some sell orders and then it moves down from there. So again, just something to pay attention to. Now, conversely, if Apple comes out and they say something about AI and it's revolutionary, kind of like when the iPhone first got released, if something like that ends up happening and the stock ends up going up, it will pull up all of the indices and you could see a nice little rally in the entire market. So just things to pay attention to tomorrow when we get the event starting. Next thing on the calendar is going to be on Tuesday is the first debate between Trump and Harris. And so, of course, this is a highly anticipated event. This debate will be going on Tuesday. And one of the important things going on here is it's happening on ABC, and they have released the rules as to what they're going to be going over. So the microphones will be live only for the candidate whose turn it is to speak and muted when the time belongs to another candidate. Only the moderators will be permitted to ask questions. A coin flip was held virtually on Tuesday to determine the podium placement and the order of closing statements. Former President Trump won the coin toss and chose to select the order of statements. The former president will offer the last closing statement, and Vice President Harris selected the right podium position on screen, stage left. There will be no opening statements, and closing statements will be 2 minutes per candidate. Each candidate will be allotted 2 minutes to answer each question with a 2-minute rebuttal and an additional minute for a follow-up clarification or response. Candidates will stand behind podiums for the duration of the debate, and no props or pre-written notes will be allowed on stage. Each candidate will be given a pen, a pad of paper, and a bottle of water. Campaign staff may not interact with candidates during commercial breaks. The debate will be produced in conjunction with ABC's station, WPVI, and will air live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the network and on the ABC News Live 24/7 streaming networks, Disney Plus and Hulu. All right, so I try to stay out of the political realm. I'm kind of in the middle on everything. I see positives and negatives from both sides, and ultimately I feel like my position in life and the direction I'm going is ultimately up to me, and whatever happens politically is regardless, because it's still going to end up being me, and I have to play by whoever's rules are out there to get myself to the next step. So that's my position on that from a political standpoint. Now, looking at it from the left and the right, having no notes out there previously, having no interaction with anybody from the campaign, a lot of people on the right are going to be favoring this because it seems like from their perspective, Harris has been over here always going by cue cards, always having somebody over her shoulder, never actually going out there to be able to speak freely and answer questions without being prompted or having notes. So that will be on their standpoint. And then from the left, they're really going to be challenging Trump because they think that Trump just kind of spins around things and tells people what they want to hear. So again, this is a nice debate that we are going to be seeing finally when it comes to people who are really involved in politics. Me personally, I just want to say, be a good human. Hold on, let me stand up here. Be a good human. These are the shirts that if you go into my merch store down below in the below the video here, these are in my merch store. I love just being a good human. I judge nobody by anything other than how good they are as a human. And even then, I don't judge people. If somebody's not a good human, I'm just like, all right, you're not my kind of person, and I will step away from that. That's it. So I encourage everyone to just be a good human. And that's why I'm wearing this shirt today instead of a more business style shirt like I've been wearing lately. Because with this going on, all the political turmoil, all of the different discussions I've been seeing on all the different social media platforms, please just be a good human. I understand we have different viewpoints on a lot of things, and it's good to have these debates because it's good to have multiple viewpoints on different things. Just be respectful. Be a good human about it. Be respectful. And that's all I ask from everyone out there. And again, if you like this shirt and you want one yourself, I've got a lot of different varieties of it. Please check the merch store down below. And now with all that said, with what we've got going on for the elections and things, obviously things can swing one way or another when it comes to the election. So the debate is very important. Historically, we have seen September and October during election cycles not being very good months for the stock market. Typically, we have a big sell-off, but it could be a great buying opportunity. Lots of volatility over the next 2 months. So this is going to be no different in my opinion. I think we're going to see the same exact thing. And then, of course, it's all going to come down to who they think is going to win. And those will be the stocks that are going to be doing better on the other side. But historically, again, as long as we're not going to be getting into any sort of recession and we're seeing at least decent enough economic numbers, we will end up seeing a rally coming out of the election. Historically, after the election, post-election, we see a rally going into the end of the year. We will see if that transpires. Again, a lot is going to happen over the next 2 months. All right, next on the list, we have on Wednesday, September 11th, we have CPI data coming out. So again, this is something where the Fed has been focusing more on unemployment than they have been focusing on inflation. Obviously, inflation numbers have been coming down. Now, a concern a lot of people are having in the market is, are we heading towards deflation? Which deflation is not good either. So wanting to keep that balance is good, but looking at the forecast, we're forecasting at 2.6%. Last month, we came in at 2.9%. That is the first time in a couple of years that we have been under 3% inflation. So now the question is going to be, all right, how low are we going to go? The Fed does like to keep us around that 2%. That keeps us at a nice slow growth pace when it comes to the economy. So getting down to the level is good, but now we're kind of trending quickly in that direction. So we want to make sure that we're not trending too quickly down. So again, a 2.6 is a nice number to see, but are we going to stay at that? I think if we come in at the forecasted number, the market will be fine with it. If we come in lower than that, could be a little cause for concern. Like I said, you go back 6 months, we wanted to see these numbers coming down. That was a good sign. Now coming down is still good, but at what cost? With unemployment still creeping up slightly and looking at job openings coming in lower than expectations, we are seeing more and more signs trending towards that recession that I've been talking about. Are we going to get there, or is the Fed going to be able to catch this? And again, this number here is also going to factor into the Fed's decision when it comes on September 18th, as far as a 25 basis point or a 50 basis point cut. Right now, the market is pricing in more of a 25 basis point cut, but I think the market actually wants a 50 basis point cut. There's a lot of people wanting that. We'll see what ends up happening, but again, Wednesday, we are going to be getting this CPI data coming out. And then finally, we have the PPI data coming out on Thursday. So no forecast for that yet. That should be coming out either later today or tomorrow. But last month, we were at a 2.2%, and that was lower than expectations of a 2.3%. That has also been trending down. So this is that inflation rate that goes prior to the CPI and what the consumers pay. So this is typically a leading indicator for CPI. So if this is going to continue trending down, that is also going to give us an indication that CPI will most likely also continue trending down in the next month. So this is also something to pay attention to. Now, we have been seeing manufacturing numbers coming down as well. We've been seeing construction jobs contracting. So again, a lot of different numbers and indicators that are out there kind of showing us that we're going in the direction of a potential recession. But this is where the soft landing, could this still happen? The market is still pricing in a soft landing. They're not really pricing in much of a recession. There's a little bit of it priced in there, but there's still a lot of room for the market to sell off if we do end up getting to one. So again, the Fed has to balance this properly with lagging data and how long it takes for Fed hikes and cuts to take effect. The Fed only cutting 25 basis points, if that's what they end up doing on September 18th, could be that nail in the coffin that really leads us to a recession. Because again, what could end up happening is they go 25 basis points now. It's going to take a long time for them to feel the effects of that. And as a matter of fact, we'll still be feeling effects from the last hikes that they did before we end up feeling the effects from the cuts that they're doing. So those remaining effects from the hikes coming through could linger through November. We hit that in November, and maybe at that point, maybe they're like, all right, well, we'll do a 50 basis point cut. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe they need to do more, or maybe they're just going to do a 25 in November. Again, they're still very data dependent as to what's going on over the next couple of months, but could get to a point where, because the Fed is going to be moving so slow, we might hit the first quarter of 2025 and the Fed's now got a panic cut and they're going to be doing 75 to 100 basis point cuts to try and get ahead of this before it falls off the cliff even further. Now, to me, that's just a worst case scenario situation that I want to make sure that I'm ready for. Mentally, I like to do the prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I hope we don't get to that point. I hope for sure that we get ourselves a soft landing. I hope we don't get into a recession. I hope we get that soft landing and the market can grow and we can build from here. But if I invested based upon hope, that's not a good strategy. Hope is not a strategy. Strategies are going to be based upon having myself prepared to take advantage of any opportunities that are out there. And if there's an opportunity for me to be able to ride the market going up into that hope scenario, I am invested in the market. I will ride it up from here. But if we end up getting a recession, I need to be prepared for that, not just for the opportunity to buy things in the market that are low, but to make sure that I am okay with myself financially. Because what if I lose my job? I need to prepare for that and have that cash on the sidelines. I need to have income generation coming in from other places to make sure I am ready for that. That is my preparation. And that is my number one thing, because if the market runs and I don't have as much money invested in it, great, I missed out on some upside. But if I have all of my money invested and the market collapses and we hit a recession and I lose everything, then I have to sell out of all my positions in the entire stock market as it's depressed just so I could pay my bills. Horrible situation. So just make sure that you are doing for yourself what is best for you in a worst case scenario. And again, you don't need to do it as I'm going to bunker down and just, assume that the world is coming to an end, but be realistic with yourself. Make sure that you're ready for any negativity that can happen in the market as far as a worst case scenario with a recession. Be ready for that. And if you're ready for that, then you're also going to be ready to take advantage of that, because when you look historically, there's very few times that we have generational buying opportunities. Recessions are always a generational buying opportunity if you are prepared for it. So you want to make sure that you are prepared for these situations. That's what I'm doing for myself. You need to do what's best for yourself and your own financial situation. So none of this is personalized financial advice, but it is general financial advice for yourself, just to make sure that you're ready in case something does happen. So that's just my thoughts for the week. I wanted to share it with you guys, and that's what is going to be playing out. How the market's going to move based upon all of that information, I don't know. Nobody knows. We will see how it plays out over the entire week. But last week we saw quite a bit based upon the numbers that we got in from the JOLTS report and the jobs report. So that's the market showing that they're not too keen on the jobs moving in the way that they're moving and unemployment moving the way it's moving. So just take that with a grain of salt going into this week when it comes to CPI, PPI, and the debate. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you guys are interested in this merch, please check out the merch store down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think is going to happen this week, how you think it's going to play out, what's going to happen over the next couple of months. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.